we talk about why the media continues to disrespect the Clippers. You know, the Clippers have been a team that a lot of people have laughed at, scoffed at, and basically just didn't really care about. You know, a team that's an afterthought. And the only team in LA in a lot of people's mind is the Lakers. And, you know, the Lakers are a great team. They've always been a great team throughout history. They've always had a good history as a team to be a contender for a championship. It's the reason why they've won 17 championships, and that's very understood. But it doesn't mean you should discredit the fact of a team on the rise, on the come up, like the Clippers, who are trying to make a case for themselves as being a contender and putting themselves in position to be the best team they can and possibly win a championship. But, you know, you have a lot of LeBron fans where if anybody steps in LeBron's way or look like they're going to challenge him, there's a revolt. There is a rebuttal. There's always something that stands in the way when there's other competition to LeBron. And LeBron's been on the Lakers the last several years. So anybody that is a threat to the Lakers or what they have going on is a problem. So when you hear analysts like Shannon Sharp say a few days ago, since Kawhi Leonard signed the 4-year max contract, and there's basically a 3-year window for, you know, Kawhi being there, the Clippers are never going to win a championship. It's just all hate towards Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers because they're a threat to the Clippers, and we all know that. But the reason why they continuously talk bad about this team, because I really feel like in their heart they know that the Clippers can beat the Lakers. The Clippers are the only team that can knock them off in the West. Every other team can't do it. Like this past season, everybody know the Suns beat the Lakers because they weren't healthy. You know, everybody just knows that. And the Suns beat the Clippers because they weren't healthy. It's just really so damn obvious. It's really not even worth talking about. But my point is, anybody that's a threat to the Lakers are just always going to be thrown under the bus. You have a guy in Jason McIntyre, I believe his name is. He goes on the Doug Gottlieb show, and you can actually YouTube this if you want to, and talks about Kawhi Leonard is a number 2 player, not a number 1. Now, I will say this, Doug Gottlieb basically, you know what I'm saying, shut that down, you know what I'm saying, rebutted everything he was saying because, you know, Jason McIntyre, he goes on there and say, oh, well, when Toronto Raptors won the championship, Kyle Lowry was the leader, the this, the that, and that's the reason why they won, basically. And that was, you know, his notion. But when you have idiots like that on national TV saying stupid stuff like that, it really makes the media look like trash. How the hell are you going to say that Kawhi is a number 2 player when he was clearly the best player on Toronto, and if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have won that championship? Kyle Lowry was on Toronto Raptors. He was on there for years before Kawhi Leonard got there. And did they win anything? Did they go anywhere? Did they ever get past LeBron James? Did they ever get past the first round a lot of years? No, they suffered and lost in a lot of first rounds. And then they had one decent, really good season. Well, they had a lot of good regular seasons, but they had one really good season where I thought they were going to challenge the Cleveland Cavaliers and possibly make a run to the finals. And they didn't. LeBron went to 9 straight NBA finals in the East for a reason. Because Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan weren't good enough. But you got Doug Gottlieb, and you got Jason McIntyre going on Doug Gottlieb's show saying Kawhi Leonard's a number 2 player. Who in the hell in their right mind would even think something like that? The guy is a number 1 player. He's a superstar. He's won 2 championships, 2-time MVP of this league. And everybody know Kawhi definitely probably could have won an MVP by now if he didn't load manage. So what are we saying? It's just all hatred towards Clippers players and everything they're trying to do because they're a threat to the Lakers. And, you know, the one thing I really, really despise about this whole thing is listening to these analysts, and they really believe themselves on what they're saying, actually like it's almost as if it's true. And it really disturbs me, and I know it disturbs a lot of other people out there. And this is why I've said before, I am someone who I like the Clippers. I pull for them. I'm a Kawhi Leonard fan before anything. So if Kawhi is on the Clippers, wherever he is, I'm going to rock with him. He's my favorite player. He's always been my favorite player. I just don't understand why this team specifically gets this type of hate. I never grew up a Clippers fan, all my life or anything like that. But I respect the team because I like the way, I like what they're trying to do. What they did last year in the playoffs, was really, really encouraging. It made me grow fond of this team even more by what I saw from this team and the resiliency, the determination and everything they showed and the guts and the grit and the fight and the pride that they had as a team really should have touched a lot of people. As you may not be a Clippers fan out there, but you should at least respect the team of what you saw in this past postseason, where they were down 0-2 every series and made it a series and came back and won all of them, damn near all of them. And they would have came back and won the last one if they had Kawhi Leonard. So this is my point. All the hate towards this team, I just don't understand. And all the hate towards the Clippers makes me pull for them even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just unreal. And the fanboys of LeBron has just really got to go. I mean, I thought to be an analyst on TV, you need to be somebody with more of a neutral mindset. You can have a team you pull for. You can have a favorite team, but you don't. To me, you shouldn't show that much favoritism when you sound that ridiculous. Like I said, that dude, Jason McIntyre, should be fired. He should have been let go a long time ago. He says, he brags sometimes about how, he has his law degree or something like that. Well, go be a damn lawyer. Go debate that, because debating sport topics is not your thing. And I don't even know why they have somebody like him in there, because he's just really a cancer to the whole media organization to me. He's really somebody that they don't need. He's really somebody that they really shouldn't even care for. And he's somebody they should replace. And I'm almost on record. I'm almost on the same notion with Stephen A. Smith. He's been around long enough. I get that. He's been on ESPN forever. I get all that. But some of the things he says, especially when it comes to the Clippers, it is the worst analysis that I've ever heard. And it's like, is somebody paying him to hate on this team? Is somebody paying those type of reporters to analysts to bring some objectivity into the take of the day that they have on ESPN? I mean, what is the problem? I mean, I've seen this man, Stephen A. Smith, hate on Kawhi Leonard for the most idiotic reasons ever. I mean, just the other day, the notion was brought to him, can Kawhi Leonard win a championship there, this, and that? In his mind, of course, you knew Stephen A. Smith was going to say no. Now, Max Kellerman's always objective to that because Max Kellerman likes Kawhi Leonard, and so does Molly. Molly likes Kawhi Leonard, but it doesn't matter if you don't like Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. I still think they should show some respect towards a team who showed you that they're definitely capable enough of winning a championship. Everybody knows if it weren't for Kawhi getting hurt, we'd be having a different champion probably. So it's not really, unheard of that, the Clippers should be looked at as a contender type team. But you have all these people coming on TV saying all these negative things, and it's all because they're a threat to the Lakers. Robert Horry comes on. If you look at a few of my videos ago, about 4 or 5 videos ago, Robert Horry, has his opinion about, Kawhi Leonard, how he's ruining the team, and, how the Clippers are pretenders and not contenders and all these other type things. Nobody gives a damn about Robert Horry. They really don't. You were a nobody your whole career. You just happened to land on good teams. The Lakers, the Spurs, you were just in good situations while you got your 7 championships. Do anybody even know Robert Horry got 7 championships? Besides somebody who is a guru or a basketball fanatic like myself or whatever you want to call it, does anybody even know he has 7 championships? Does anybody even care? This is what I'm saying. They have a bunch of people on there who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I mean, they don't. They have no idea what they're talking about. And, it's just a shame to listen to analysts say things the way they say about this team, and they really believe it. My thing is this: take of the day. Let this team live. Let them do what they're going to do. Clippers make mistakes like any other team make mistakes. Do you notice one thing in the regular damn season? When the Clippers lose a game, a primetime game, it could be one game, and all the analysts go crazy like, oh, yeah, see, I told you they're not that good. Oh, see, yeah, I told you they're not that great of a team. Oh, well, yeah, see, I told you they're pretenders, because they lose one game. This team can't make no mistakes. This team can't have no flaws. This team can't have any blemishes on their record. This team can't fall not one time during the season without analysts jumping all on their back saying that they're pretenders instead of contenders. Where the Lakers can go through a 6-7 game losing streak and they're still talking about how much of a contender they are just because LeBron James is on there. And LeBron James is looking more washed and washed each season that we see him. I mean, really, that bubble situation was a joke. Let's just keep it real for what it was. It was a joke. That benefited LeBron more than anybody else. LeBron had more time off to rest. LeBron took advantage of his time off. And everybody had time to rest. I'm not going to say everybody else didn't, because they did. But we all know how LeBron is. He takes care of his body in the offseason. He takes care of it better than every other superstar player in the NBA. Probably in sports, he does. So when you give somebody like him extra time off, the way he takes care of his body, the way he conditions, the way he pays $2 million a year to condition his body so he can be ready for the season, you give him extra rest with all the conditioning and all the, everything he does in the offseason. That's an advantage for LeBron James. It just is. A lot of people may not see it that way, but that's an advantage because now he gets to condition his body to the max, detox his body to the max, and then give it the rest that his body needs to proceed to the season or whatever they need to do and go out there and perform. Why do you think he's been to 9 straight NBA finals? Because he takes care of his body better than everybody else. He's more conditioned and he gets the proper rest that he needs. That's why he has commercials about, what came out, I think last year, about sleeping, one of those, type of apps that you can get to help you rest and breathe better and sleep better. Right. Because he's all about getting his body in shape and being the best he can be. And I've always appreciated LeBron for that. I've never been a LeBron fan, but at the same time, I've always appreciated him for taking care of himself when nobody told him to and wanting to be the best when nobody asked him to. And that definitely, has, personified his career. And I get all that. So him in the bubble with, the time off that they had, the 4 months before they came back, that really benefited somebody like him a lot. Whereas other younger players probably were just taking time off, goofing off, not taking care of their body the way they were supposed to. And, they really weren't ready for that type of situation. LeBron had his team ready and he was ready for the moment. And you got to give him credit. They won the championship. But other than that, he's been looking kind of washed the last couple of years, if you think about it. So but my point is, it doesn't matter how washed he looks. Doesn't matter how bad he looks. They still say they're contenders because they're wearing a Lakers uniform. And they won't do that about the Clippers ever, no matter how good the Clippers played. They know the Clippers would have been in the finals if Kawhi didn't get hurt, but they don't care They're still sitting there saying, oh, well, they're still acting like, oh, well, they won't going to win it anyway, or we don't know this and, we don't know that. But if that was LeBron James in that situation, all those analysts would be sitting there saying, well, LeBron definitely would have won 110%. He definitely would have won if he was healthy, this, and that. But they don't say that about Kawhi Leonard because he's a threat to LeBron James. They don't say that about anybody else because they're not LeBron. And this is the problem. Kawhi Leonard is never going to get his just due unless they win a championship. And he probably still won't get it then, but they just won't have no choice but to deny him. He has to win a championship with the Clippers. And that's just the way a lot of analysts are seeing it. But in my book, if Kawhi Leonard retired from basketball now, he's a Hall of Famer. If he retired from basketball now, he's still one of the best players that we've seen because he could play both ends of the floor, unlike any other player that we've seen in this league. We've had Dennis Rodmans and players like that who were great defenders, but Dennis Rodman couldn't score like Kawhi Leonard can. Dennis Rodman wasn't a two-time Finals MVP. Draymond Green says he's the best defender of all time, but he can't score to save his damn life, which is one reason why Golden State had to go get Kevin Durant at that time because they can't trust Draymond Green because he's a non-factor on the offensive end. If he hits a shot, it's a plus. But if he doesn't hit the shot, well, nobody's mad because he's not worth a damn offensively anyway. He runs his mouth so much. Him and KD get into a rift. KD goes to another team. And now the Warriors look average. Don't even know whether Klay Thompson is going to be the same way he was before he got injured. So you can X him out. But this is my point. Kawhi is a great player. This is a really good team that from what they showed last year. And that's all you can go on right now. Until the season starts, you have to go by what have you done for me lately? And last postseason, we saw how good this team could be. Now, hopefully, I'm not sure if they can mimic that again. Like I said, I didn't really like the fact of the Patrick Beverley trade and all that stuff, but that's another story. You look at my other videos for that. But at the same time, this still is a really good team. And if Kawhi comes back healthy, which is, if, of course, you never want to, you got to be optimistic about things. They can be a contender. And that's the way they should be looked at. And that's the way they should be respected. So with that notion being said, I just wish media leave this team alone and let them live and let them do what they're going to do. Let them play the season out. And a lot of people are looking at this season as a lost season or maybe a throwaway season for the Clippers because, Kawhi is not going to be there and they're not sure if he's going to come back any point in time during the season or the playoffs, so it could be. It could be a throwaway season for the Clippers, but don't write them off just yet. Let's just wait and see what happens. And then once we see what happens, then we go from there. Let's not write the team off yet when we don't even know how it's going to pan out. And that's just my take on everything. Appreciate you guys for listening as always. I had to just throw this out there because it's been on my mind. So I wanted to share it with you guys. And hey, leave any comments in the comment section. We'll talk about it. Us Cali Take family, this is what we do. And let's engage as always. And hey, Cali out.